I told my 5-year-old son that his mother was never coming back. He was hiding under his bed when I found him, clutching a stuffed dinosaur so tight the stitches were popping. His whole body was shaking. When I reached for him, he screamed. Not a tantrum scream, a terror scream, like I was a monster crawling out of the dark. I pulled my hand back like I'd touched fire. My own son was afraid of me. I stood there in his doorway, paralyzed, trying to understand how we got here. 3 weeks ago, everything was normal. 3 weeks ago, he still ran to me when I came home from work. 3 weeks ago, his mother hadn't filed for emergency custody, claiming I was dangerous. The accusations came out of nowhere. Vanessa had left 8 months earlier for a coworker, moved into his apartment across town, and we'd been doing shared custody without incident. Then suddenly I got served papers claiming I'd threatened her life, that our son Micah had witnessed violence, that the boy was terrified of being alone with me. None of it was true. I'd never raised a hand to anyone, but her lawyer had statements, detailed statements supposedly from Micah describing things that never happened. A judge gave her temporary full custody pending investigation. I got supervised visits twice a week in a county office that smelled like floor cleaner and broken families. The first visit, Micah wouldn't look at me. The second visit, he asked the supervisor if she would protect him if I got mad. I felt something crack inside my chest. Whatever his mother was telling him was working. He genuinely believed I was dangerous. I started recording every interaction, documenting everything, desperate to prove I wasn't the person she was describing. But the damage was already spreading through him like poison. During our third visit, he whispered something that stopped my heart cold. He said Mommy showed him pictures of what happens to kids whose daddies get angry. I asked what kind of pictures. He started crying and wouldn't answer. I hired a forensic child psychologist my lawyer recommended. She interviewed Micah separately, carefully, using techniques designed to detect coaching. Her report came back devastating for Vanessa. She found clear indicators of parental alienation, scripted responses, adult language embedded in a child's vocabulary, fear responses inconsistent with genuine trauma. Micah wasn't afraid of me because of anything I'd done. He was afraid of me because his mother had systematically taught him to be. The psychologist's testimony got me an emergency hearing, but Vanessa's lawyer attacked her credentials, called it junk science, demanded more time. The judge gave them another 30 days, 30 more days of my son believing I was a monster. Then I got the email. Vanessa's sister Corinne sent it from a burner account with an attachment that made my lawyer drop her coffee cup. It was a screen recording from Vanessa's phone showing text conversations with her boyfriend. In the texts, she bragged about coaching Micah, described the exact phrases she'd taught him to say, laughed about how the scared little boy act was working perfectly. One message said the kid actually believes it now and included a crying laughing emoji. Another discussed how once custody was permanent, they'd move to another state and I'd never see him again. Corinne's message said she couldn't stay quiet anymore, that she'd watched her sister destroy their own father the same way 20 years ago. We got an emergency hearing within 48 hours. My lawyer played the screen recording for the judge while Vanessa sat frozen at her table, face draining white. Her boyfriend had convinced her to delete the original texts, but the screen recording existed because she'd sent it to him as a trophy. He'd forwarded it to Corinne after their relationship imploded. The judge watched the whole thing without blinking. When it finished, she turned to Vanessa and asked if she had anything to say. Vanessa started crying, said she was just scared, said she was trying to protect her son. The judge said she was looking at obstruction, perjury, and felony child abuse charges. She granted me full custody on the spot and ordered Vanessa to have no contact until criminal proceedings concluded. That night, I brought Micah home. He walked through the front door like he was entering a haunted house, checking corners, flinching at shadows. I sat down on the living room floor and waited. He stood by the door for almost 10 minutes before he finally sat across from me. I told him Mommy wasn't coming back. I told him she'd told him things about me that weren't true, that she'd shown him scary pictures to make him afraid, that none of it was real. He stared at me with those huge eyes and asked why Mommy would lie. I said sometimes grown-ups do bad things because they're hurting inside, and it's never the kid's fault. He asked if I was going to get angry like the pictures. I opened my arms slowly, palms up, and said the only thing I'd ever hurt was my back trying to carry him on my shoulders. He didn't laugh, but he didn't run either. It took 4 months before he stopped checking the doors at night. Vanessa pled guilty to child endangerment and got 3 years. Micah sees a therapist every Thursday now. Last week he asked if we could get a dog. I said yes before he finished the sentence.